What is going on, you guys? My name is Cody Thixton, and this it's interesting podcast coming to you guys on September 3rd, 2023 for episode 68. Where today we have another very special guest. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you guys get notified whenever I upload content. Make sure to go and follow me on social media at CodyT503. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Let's get right into this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute pleasure to bring to you guys Charly Avell.
Yo, what's good? What's good? It's me, Charly Avell, repping the PNW here, and I'm with what is interesting podcast with Cody. Let's get it.
Oh man, it is an absolute pleasure for you to actually join us here. Like, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here.
All right, man. Well, let's just like jump like right into it. So, like, when did you actually get into professional wrestling?
Like when I started my career, when I first started was back in late June, early July 2018. So it's been like it actually hit 5 years this year in 2023. So it's been a while, kind of.
Interesting. That is very interesting. So like I know like you had kind of been in like a Salem wrestling school. So like how was that like going into that environment like starting out?
Yeah, so when I started out, it was the Grapplers called the Grapplers Academy back in 2018, and I found out about them through so I knew about them way before, probably like around 2012 or 2011. Whenever I created my Twitter or Facebook, and I found out they're in Salem. So I hit them up, and I didn't know who I hit up at the time. But when I hit them up, they're like, "Yeah, they're open. They're accepting students." And once I finally got a car and I finally got contacts and got rid of my glasses, I was like, "All right, let's do it. It's either not do it or let's do it." So I decided to do it because you never know when I'm gonna start. So I wanted to go down there once I had my car and was just ready for it.
That is so cool. Yeah, I know. I usually like to ask like wrestlers like, what was it like when you woke up that morning and was like, I'm gonna actually go up and actually sign up for this. Like, can you walk us through that day?
Oh man, that's been so long. I mean, I could tell you what motivated me to do it. Um, at that time, I was like choosing between getting a new job and starting fresh somewhere else and still in college, or I was like, or if this new job doesn't get me, stay where I'm at and start hit up the school and start go training. So I was like, I did the job interview. It looked like it went well, but I never got anything back. So I'm like, all right, I'm not doing anything in the summer. Off college for 3 months. I'm like, I'm just gonna go train, and I hit up the whoever was running at the time, and the rest is history.
That is awesome. Yeah, I know when I was going through kind of your history and whatnot, and when I
Mhm.
was just bringing up you going to the Grapplers Wrestling Academy, um, I had seen that you were a tag team with Dr. Luther.
So that actually began like around mid 2019. So that was like way later, like a couple months after, because at that time he wasn't the trainer. It was mainly Ricky Gibson and
Mhm.
some other guys that were there at the time. So they were the main trainers at the time. But like when they went to do on to pursue other better things and further their careers, Luther out of nowhere appeared and became the head trainer, and he started training a couple of us that was still there at the time when the school was still open.
That is really cool. So do you mind me asking? Were you a part of the Hunger Slam?
The last one, yes, I was part of that one. That was an interesting one because that was it's a 24-hour show. I don't know if you've heard. I'm assuming it's like you've heard of it. So yeah, those that's an interesting event that they only did, and that was like the last one, and haven't done that ever since then. Not even other promotions like DOA. I mean, they've done it too, but that was like way before my time.
Yeah. Yeah. So was there anything that maybe Dr. Luther had kind of like whether it be like coordinating a match or coordinating a storyline that maybe you kind of learned from?
Mainly I've learned more in training with him when he gave us like, mainly life stories. Helped out a lot. He always gave us life stories outside the ring, but he was very helpful and knowledgeable, passing on what he learned from his days in like FMW, during his time running in the like the second version of Portland Wrestling, I believe it was. I need to get on my history on that too. So, uh, but he taught me a lot of stuff that I'm just gonna keep to myself for now.
Yeah. No, no, it's totally fine. So, like I was also like reading throughout your history, and you were able to compete in a 12-week program with the Nightmare Factory. So,
So
like, have
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, it's totally fine. So, like, how did that whole thing come to fruition?
So that is pretty much that was so Dr. Luther gave me the heads up, like, hey, there's a school down here that they got going on. He had notified me and like the last few students of us that were pretty close with him. He let us know like, hey, there's a school down in Georgia. If you guys want to move down here, there's an opportunity for you guys to further your career and improve on your training. So when that was told to me, it was like around the 2020s, and that time COVID happened and all that stuff was happening, so not much was going on. But by the time of like of 20 late 2020, I talked to him again, and we talked about it, and I was connected to the people that were running the school, and we text back and forth, and I gave it a couple weeks to think about it in October, and by like late October or probably even mid October, I decided, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, and booked my flight and everything, got my stuff ready, and decided to go down to Georgia. Nothing much was going on; everything was closed up here in Oregon. But when you go down there, it was a whole different. It was like a whole different world. Everything was open down there. It's a whole different vibe.
Oh man, that is awesome. So, like, how was it actually being in Georgia during that whole time? Like, were you able to adapt to that environment?
Yeah, it took a bit. Going, homesick. It's like it's a whole different area. I haven't flown in a plane since like early 2020, or not 2020, my bad, 2000. So I was only like a kid. So this was like my first time flying by myself.
Yeah.
Um, and so going down there, when I first got there, like the first week or so, it was same weather like Oregon. It was cloudy, but it wasn't raining. But it was like more. It was a little bit more warm up down there. But every now and then it would change, like Oregon, like the weather would be cloudy, it would be sunny. Um, it was a different like vibe up there down there because, like I said, everything was open. The whole pandemic was going on. People didn't really care about certain rules, like the mask stuff. So I was trying to get used to all that stuff. Um, Good. There was nice people down there that at least that I've met, like even not just in like the school that when I was down there, but like going to grocery shopping to get my like my meal prepping stuff and all that. Like it was, I guess there that southern hospitality is still there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, what was running through your mind, like, as you were maybe like taking that flight and knowing that you were going to one of the top pro wrestling schools that they have to offer right now? You know what I mean? Like, were you expecting what you were actually like going to when you were actually taking that flight?
Yeah, no, I knew it was gonna be. I knew for sure it was gonna be a different style of wrestling. Like it's similar, but every territory has its little differences. Um, but the first thing was, oh, I'm just ready to get off the flight because it was like 5 hours, I think it was, just flying straight. But other than that, I knew what I was going into. I knew I was gonna get some different type of like training. I knew it was a beginner's class, so there's still some similarities, but there's gonna be some differences where I would have to tweak a couple things in my move set and the way I do some stuff. But that's just like adding more tools to my toolbox.
Yeah. Yeah, so I know that school is mostly taught by, Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall. So, like, did you get to run into them at all, or was there other trainers at that school?
There was so they were there, but there was also like their like kind of like their assistant trainers. Like there was
Hmm.
if they weren't there for like for example when they'd have like dynamite going on Wednesdays, the school would run for beginners class. It would be Monday through Thursday, so Monday through Thursday. So there'd be times when they weren't there, so they'd have the assistants like Glacier, if you remember him from WCW, and then one of QT's assistants. His name's Luke Sampson that was down there. And then every now and then we'd have like special coaches or special guests come in whenever there wasn't like tapings going on or like a live show.
Hmm. Yeah. So I was also reading that like so you were a part of the second graduates of that program,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I know there was the Nightmare Factory showcase too, where you were actually able to pick up a win in a like a fatal four way. So
Yep.
yeah, so like how does it feel to like be within the first couple of showcases and within that showcase actually picking up a win and being a representation of the Nightmare Factory? Like how much does that like that has to be crazy.
Dude, it was awesome. I was like, oh, I won. I got the W. Let's go. Representing the Pacific Northwest down there. Even though there was another couple of my guys down there, but like I was representing in the beginners class. Uh, Unexpected win, but I was happy with it. I was happy with my training down there overall. And uh, at that time, that was like actually my first time getting into the ring, like having a match since the whole pandemic began. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I was happy. I was excited. But it was a fatal four-way match. After the match, I was just tired. I was like, oh, lots of work. And I believe that was my
Oh,
first fatal four-way, if I can remember, like my first fatal four-way match. So that was fun.
yeah. So, like, is there any other like matches that like you mostly would like look forward to if as far as like a stipulation?
Not that I can think of. I'm definitely down to try a steel cage match though. I haven't we rarely have those up here in the Northwest. So I know recently, at least that I can recall, DOA did one, like maybe like a months ago though. So I'd be down. I'll definitely be down for a steel cage. I already done a hardcore match, uh, falls count anywhere. So I've done multiple types of other matches, but no steel cage yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, well, what are like some inspirations that you actually carry with your character as far as previous professional wrestlers?
I mean, right now I got two characters. Right now I got one in Portland with the Dregs, and then the pretty boy one down in Eugene. The Dregs one, that one, it mainly just begins with my time with Dr. Luther when we were a tag team down in Salem, called the Salem's Lot. Mainly got more inspiration from him. Uh, Kind of like some of its like character look wise, like the Joker from 2008, The Dark Knight. Let's see, we got the other Joker, the one that came out in 2019, the one with Joaquin Phoenix. Uh, The Crow as well. I was recommended to watch that movie a couple of years back, so I was like, what, I'll watch it. Then I got some vibes off of it. I was like, oh, I can get something from that. So it's mainly from movies. Wrestling wise, it would be like more Randy Orton, a little bit of Chris Jericho, some of Dr. Luther because I teamed up with him, a little bit of Drexel at the time when I was with him like a year ago or something like that. So there's a lot of names that I can name off top of, but just a couple of those though.
That is so cool. So, like,
And then
oh,
sorry,
go
and
ahead.
then I forgot the Fabio one. Fabio is just that's the thing. It's a Fabio look. If you can't pick it off of it, that's pretty much it. It's still pretty fresh though.
Fabio, like, I'm sorry, I don't really know about who that is. Maybe if you can explain it to people.
So he's not from my era. He's a name that was pretty popular like in the 80s or 90s or something like that, I believe.
Mhm.
It's like a male model. I don't even know if he's like a male supermodel or something, but he's if you look him up on Google, he's gonna be the first thing that pops up if you type in Fabio. Dude with the long hair, muscle, fantasy novel type of look. You just look him up and you'll know more about him. I don't know much about him. I need to do my research on that, but it's inspired by other characters too, not just him specifically. I just have the
Yeah.
look.
That is awesome. I know when I was sitting there watching some of your footage, and I kind of noticed that like you have the like ripped sleeves and then the face paint and whatnot, and like it immediately makes me think of Jeff Hardy just
Yep.
because of his whatnot. So is he one of your inspirations as far as like bringing out that certain side of your character?
For that character, yes, that's one of those. I mean, watching him as a kid, he came back to WWE in '06. So that's when I started watching, like legit taking the time to watch wrestling. At that time was John Cena, Edge, Jeff Hardy. Who you got SmackDown side Batista, Undertaker. So those a couple names that I could at least name off. Obviously the big names. And you got MVP and Mr. Kennedy and all those guys. Those that are in that same level as well at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, so like you kind of like started watching wrestling during like the ruthless aggression era.
Pretty
Like
much.
yeah,
Yeah, that's when I started watching it. It's like my first encounter, and I was like in fourth grade, I think, somewhere around there.
that is so cool. Yeah, I feel like that is like a really good time to get into professional wrestling because I feel like a lot of the people that were maybe even jobbers are now like starting to become like the legends. Like we didn't really see like Fit Finley in that time get a major push besides like the United States Championship and whatnot. You know what I mean? But he
Yeah.
is still so intricate into now the professional wrestling scene that he's now made a name for himself. So it's like it was crazy to see at that time the people that maybe were quote unquote jobbers, but now they're leading the way into what professional wrestling is becoming. And it's so crazy.
Oh yeah. No, I see what you mean. So I know I see what's going on. So I see what you mean, man.
Oh, that is so cool. So like what was your actual like first ever professional wrestling event that you had gone to live?
It would actually be an episode of Monday Night Raw in 2007 when they came in February. Uh, it was an episode of Raw, but it wasn't aired till Thursday for some reason. I can't remember why, but I do remember watching it. And at that time, I remember the main event was, I think it was a 8-man tag. I think it was John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Batista and Undertaker versus Mr. Kennedy, MVP, and Rated RKO, Randy Orton and Edge. So this was before WrestleMania. That was like in February. So they got all those those big matches coming up. So they got like kind of like mixed up the roster. But yeah, that was like at least that I can recall. It was like my first wrestling event that I attended. So I was like 10 years old.
That is really cool. That is really cool. So I was going through like some of your footage, and you had kind of debuted for TPW,
Hmm.
and so it's like, how is it going and debuting for a new company where maybe you don't know how the fans are exactly going to react to you coming out, but like you still have to go out and perform. So like how does that feel as a performer, like going into new events or new companies?
I guess I get a little nervous because because I care though. I get nervous because I care, but I just go out there and just do my thing and just mess with the guys or the girls or wherever the crowd out there, and then go off the vibe. Um, but I get creative with it, just depending on just get the feel of the crowd. I get creative with it and try to have fun out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know during your debut there, you were facing King Naja, and
Hmm.
you guys were kind of like outside of the ring, and you guys had actually gotten help from like a little kid to like hold you down while he sat there and chopped you.
That's not his thing. He likes to do that. That's his thing. I'm good though. I don't need to mess with those people.
Yeah. Yeah, so like how did it feel to like be like outside of the ring and maybe work for a different promotion that maybe gave you a little bit more space to work outside the ring as compared to it being so like close?
Oh, like condensed, like compared to like DOA, it's kind of closer, but with them, it's like a little. You got more space.
Yeah.
I actually like it when there's more space, so I don't interfere with like. people in my way when I'm doing certain things. But I just usually adapt. I'm easy to adapt to certain things. I see my surroundings, and then it's just like, okay, this is what I can do, yada yada, and do whatever. So I just adapt on the. I look, give it a couple, like a minute or so, and just adapt and just adjust to it, and then I'm just chilling and doing my own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed during the match that he had kind of had you like in the corner and was sitting there giving you chops. And I just wanted
Mhm.
to ask you like who do you think has like the hardest chop in the Pacific Northwest?
If you ask him right now, at least that I can recall would be Amira. Oh my gosh, man, those hands can do something, man. They hurt. She's tough out there, bro. So I'll tell you that. So I'll tell you to watch out. At least that's who I
Oh.
can recall right now. From like my time when I started. Oh, I can't remember their names, but it was like when I first started training at the Grapplers Academy. They introduced me to doing chops. We had like a night where we were just doing chops, and I could tell you that my chest was like red. I still have a picture of it too.
Oh, that is crazy. Yeah. So I have a question about like this is something that like I usually hear from like pro wrestling fans is like getting over like or like pro wrestlers where like they want to get something over. So like what would you say in your own words is the I guess that like the true definition of getting something over? Like what are the actual things that a wrestler needs to know that it's actually working?
Uh, I just say I think it's just feeding the energy when you're there in person or when you're wrestling in front of the people. Uh, you just feeding off of the energy of the crowd. That's what I think, at least in person. And then if you're doing like social media stuff and all that, just continuing posting and showing yourself on Facebook, Twitter/X or Instagram or whatever, and just going off the reactions. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. So I apologize. So
There you
I know we like with you going to Power Pro Wrestling, like you had kind of introduced like the beautiful Charly Avell. And I had like interviewed other wrestlers where they would kind of say that it's kind of almost like a hard reset. So like how did you go about hard kind of resetting your whole character and knowing that you kind of want to do this as compared to what you typically were?
Hmm. Reset. Uh, I don't know. How would I answer this question? I just how would I want? I don't even know how to answer this question actually. Honestly, what I think I did or what I do usually do is just process what's gonna happen, like what's the next move with the character that I'm gonna be doing, and look up, do my research, and try to bring in pieces and figure out what this character is gonna be. I'm kind of used to it now since I switch back and forth from Eugene and Portland, so really it's just I just choose like week or whatever day or something. I'm just there like figuring out how I'm gonna figure this new version of me, figure it out, and make it make sense and make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when you were about to, like, make your entrance and before you actually, like, cut your promo, when you were answering Amira's challenge, Brian Zane was kinda introducing you. So, like,
Mhm.
how is he, like, working alongside with when it comes to POW Pro Wrestling?
Brian Zane, come on now, man. Nah, he's a great guy. He's a great mind. What you see in the videos as well, in his videos is what you see also in person as well. He's been helping me out a lot, so he gives me lots of good tips and advice to how to make it work. So that's all I can tell you though.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of, like, going throughout, like, your Twitter, and you had kind of, talked about, referee Buddy Ruth. And like him kind of like really guiding you throughout your career and like really being there to support you. So could you touch on that a little bit?
So he was actually we started the same year, but I think he was like or a couple months way before me. So, but he was there from the beginning, from day one till today. So he's seen me. He's one of the few that have seen me grow from day one of the class when I started there till when we're at shows. Um, he didn't start as a well. He started as a wrestler, but then he turned into a ref, and now he's way more successful as a ref, and he's gone farther than me. But I'm still going up there. I'm improving on my end.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's one of my OGs.
yeah, yeah. I do admire the fact that he is so like detailed as far as like what a referee shouldn't or shouldn't be doing. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like he, you can see that like with him, and it's like, was there ever any point during your career where maybe you had learned from somebody as far as like a detailed mind like that?
I've learned from a lot of people from the likes like Breeze when he was here when he did the seminar a couple days ago. Gangrel, obviously Cody and QT when I was down there in Georgia, mainly Glacier since I was more on hand with him when I was down in the Nightmare Factory. He gave me a lot of good tips from his times with like working with Dusty Rhodes and other big names from like when he started his career to like the 2000s. Um, um, let's see, my current coaches right now like Ricky and Flex and all them that are and Eddie. uh, but yeah, no, I've been given a lot of information to the point where I have them in my notes. So I got some notes. I got my own notebook, so I keep them down there. And then also I got like a notepad on my phone. So whenever I gotta look back at some stuff, I just go on there. So just refresh the mind every now and then.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to bring up with you is I know I was talking to Max Burnside, and we were kind of talking about how once you're in a profession, like you can't stop learning. Otherwise, like
Mhm.
you kind of build like a ceiling for yourself. And like
Yeah.
with you, like not only going to, wrestling training in Salem or going to seminars or going to the Nightmare Factory or going to OPWS,
Hmm.
like there has to be that level in which like you kind of know that you can't stop training. And it's like is that something that like you kind of carry with yourself to like know that like there is that ceiling that you can build with yourself?
Yeah, no, I can't. I gotta keep going. I can't stop. It's kind of like going to the gym. I go like at least for sure five, but sometimes six times a week, and I can't stop because then I just get like, oh, I'm being lazy or I can't. I don't know. Something in my head just goes like, I can't just be doing nothing. So I'm just like on the go whenever I'm free or something like that. I mean, when I'm not free, I'm just chilling playing games. But it's kind of like professional athlete, basketball players, NBA players, NFL. They're always training. I mean, they do get an off season. We don't, but they're always training until when they retire. So I'm just gonna keep going, and that's just we don't stop learning. It's always something new every day.
Yeah. Yeah, so here's a interesting question that I've kind of always wanted to ask professional wrestlers. Like, do you think that there's a certain aspect of professional wrestling fandom, especially online, that really holds professional wrestling from getting over as much as it used to?
I don't know, man. I don't really follow that stuff. I'm not into going online and doing all like I used to when I was younger. So I really don't know how to answer that question.
Yeah, no, no, it's all good, no problem. Um, give me 1 second. So like you were kind of bringing up earlier, kind of having like the Joker character, and then I know when you go onto Facebook, like you have this cover photo where you have like a crow, and like you're sitting there, and like you have like your own pose. So it's like what ideas kind of run through your mind whenever you're thinking about what you could attach to a photo to kind of really represent your character?
So with my character, I think like currently it's more still like an outcast dark side type of feel. So I'm just more like my main favorite colors is black, red, and white. So I just go off like the dark feel, kind of like the goth type ish, not too gothy, but like I'm more. I like more of the dark side for, I mean, at least for that character. As for the other one, it's still a work in progress, so I can't really tell you much on that end.
All right. Well, so when did you actually meet Austin Oso?
So, oh, I met him a while ago, but we finally decided to form a team with our old mentor Drexel back in was it 2022, early 2022. So, but I've known Austin for a while already. I met him when I actually started training. He's been doing it longer than me, and we've known each other ever since. And then we just got closer by like 2022 when we started doing all this stuff. Come the dregs.
So like when did that whole conversation start of you guys actually being like, this is what we can call ourselves and this is what we can do in a professional wrestling ring that will actually get over with the crowd?
Oh, it was just I think it was at the moment we weren't well things were starting to slowly open up, so then there was like an opportunity happening. People were like kind of retiring, like semi-retiring, and all. There was like spots opening up for us, um, and there was needed for a tag team. So you know what? Let's get together. Let's get see if we get like a mentor on our side and guide us to getting some W's, get some dubs. And we managed to when we formed our team, we managed to go after the DOA tag titles, but unfortunately, there was those times we couldn't get the belts. Um, but yeah, it just started with a small conversation, and it just kept growing.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's kind of talk about DOA like schools out. And I know like I was kind of talking with Zay about like how that match kind of got cut short. And so like what was going through your mind as you were in the ring trying to perform and then like you kind of hear Zay reacting to his injury and whatnot. And like what is running through your mind as that is happening?
That kid got to hit some calves, some squats, some fix that foot of his. Bones. He's all bones, bro. I'll tell you that. I know he's gonna see this too. Nah, I what I did was I just did my own thing, continue, try to get the W. Come on now. Can't be losing. Take down his buddy.
Oh man. Oh, that is crazy. I know. I was saying that Spencer Scott did pretty good that night, and I know you guys have been kind of building towards the 15th anniversary of DOA. So, what can we expect from that match with you against the Flamin' Aces?
I'm gonna kick their butts. I've had enough of those kids. It's been what, a month already? I feel like it's been a year. I can't keep track. Sometimes I lose track because I'm too busy doing some other things. But yeah, it's gonna be crazy. You know, it's the 15th anniversary. Anything's gonna happen. I think it happened that day. 15 years of DOA, which is also a thing that none of us was gonna think that was gonna last. But hey, it's still going to this day.
Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. So I noticed when I was kind of scrolling through your social media that you had the Two Faces of Charly Avell T-shirt. So like
Mm.
have like when did you kind of come up with that idea as far as representing both sides of your character?
With that one, I think it was 2022, I believe, like October. I think that's when October or summer or somewhere around that time of last year. Um, I just I just wanted to show like the my from like my beginning days till the current day, kind of like that type of idea. Like, oh, here's what I looked like when I started, and then here's what's it looking like right now, which I'm still using the face paint. So, it's still a current event T-shirt type of deal. So it's still on there on Pro Wrestling Tees. But the artist that made it was his name is Juan. He's a guy from California. I believe his tag name is Of the Dead or something like that. I can't remember, and he does really great designs. He's done my logos that I wear on my current gear down with POW and then up in here in DOA. He's done multiple works for me. A great artist.
Yeah. Yeah, so like what can we expect from the future when it comes to Charlie Avell?
Mm. Right now, you'll see more of me in the Northwest, but I'm trying to expand. Hopefully, go to like some other places. I do want to go back to Georgia and see what's good down there. Flights are expensive right now, so it's crazy. One of my other goals is to actually go to New York and see if I can wrestle up there at least once or twice. See, because I want to go visit that city. But yeah, I try to go more around the West Coast since it's my area over here, and then hopefully more opportunities open up where I can travel furthermore from like to the mid and then to the East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Well, before we actually end up closing everything out, I just want to ask you, like, what does professional wrestling mean to you whenever you get to actually go out and perform?
Oh man, to me, what it means to me is going out there, having fun, and either annoying the fans or having them cheer me, boo me, whatever. It's just all what matters to me is if they had a good time, then I for sure had a good time. Uh, and just kind of just putting on a show, even on days when there's an off day for me, I'm still gonna try to give it my 110% and just have fun out there.
That is really awesome, man. Well, I just want to thank you very, very much for actually joining us here today and just letting me sit down and just know who and everybody know who Charly Avell is.
Yes, sir. No, I had fun. That was a pleasure. I mean, I haven't done these like I said in like over 2 years or something like that. So it was just a quick little update of what's going on compared to the other ones. So a lot has changed since then.
All right, man. Well, I hope you have a very, very good night, and I cannot wait to see you when you come back to Independence.
Yes, sir. You can find me on social media too. Follow me. See my photoshops and my stuff on Twitter at Real Charly Avell. Go on Instagram at Charly Avell. You can find me on there and see what's going on. My next event would be DOA, the 15th anniversary versus the Flamin Aces. Ugh. Done with those guys. So yeah, when you follow me on the socials, you're gonna see what's going on with me with the Dregs and what I'll be doing down in POW, DOA, wherever you'll find me. I'll be moving around. I don't try to stay in the same spot the whole time. But yeah, let's have some fun and see what's good. The future's unpredictable. See what's good, baby.
All right, man. Well, I hope you have a very, very good night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having me.
Bye. All right, you guys. So that was Interesting's podcast interview with Charly Avell. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you guys get notified whenever I upload content. Make sure to go and follow me on social media at CodyT503. That's Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And remember, September 10th at 5 p.m. PST, Interesting Podcast is going to be interviewing Michaela Roberts. And then September 17th, Interesting Podcast is going to have another very special guest of Caden Cassidy. These are two interviews you guys are not going to want to miss. So make sure you guys ring that notification bell so you guys get notified when I go live. I'll catch you guys later.